Most people live their life from a way of operating called have, do, be. Okay, now here's what that means. When I have the circumstances, then I'll do the things that I want to do, and then I'll be happy. Okay? So let me give you an example. When I get the boat, then I'll do fishing and scuba diving and whatever it is I want to do, and then I'll be happy. Now the problem with this, now this is the way that most of society lives. This is the way that I would say 97% of the people operate from this place. And it's not, not to be victim to the whole thing, but it's really not our fault. It's what we learn from our parents. It's what the society and the media kind of pound into our head with the commercials and all that. You know, get this thing and you'll have excitement. If you look at any advertising, what the advertising is saying to us is, get this product and you'll feel this way. Okay? It's hammered into us at every stop. So let me go through it one more time because it's super important. Most people live when they have the thing that they want, then they'll do the things that they want to do, and then they'll be happy. So let me give you another example. When I have financial freedom, then I'm going to go travel the world, and then I'm going to be happy.
Or,
that's like one of the most common ones.
Can I give you, because in the class, a lot of people go, I just was teaching somebody the other night, and he goes, well, I'm going to go get a job and move up so I can go follow my dream. Okay, so he's, this one gentleman's trying to have the money so he can go pay for his dream. He's trying to get the money first to go do his dream. Or there's, pretend you wanted to do an animal shelter. You're trying to acquire to go get, okay?
That way of operating is a recipe for misery and disaster. Okay? And that's how most people operate. The true way to create results and to create happiness is to operate from be, do, have. Okay? It's just the exact opposite. Now let me explain. Okay? Number one, you have to be happy, content, all the things you want to be. You have to be that first.
Confident, relaxed,
whatever the positive emotions are. Then you do the things you need to do to create results. And after you be and do, then you have what it is you want to have. Okay?
And then when you have what you wanted is to have, you're already happy to begin with, so it just is a value add.
See,
it doesn't make you one way or the other, it just enhances your life.
So let me give you another example. I'm going to use the same example I used before. So if I'm being confident, relaxed, inspired, giving, all those positive emotions, then I'm going to have, it's weird. Here's where the law of attraction works.
It changes your behavior.
It changes your vibe. It changes the people that want to interact with you. Have you guys ever met somebody and you just like immediately when you meet them, you're just like turned off? You're just like, ooh, yuck. I don't want to hang out with that person. I don't want to be around that person. Have you guys ever met anybody like that where you meet them and it's just, it doesn't work? It's like yucky. You understand what I'm talking about. So let me explain it and just and take it and explain it. When you change that be, you change the people that want to interact with you and that want to do business with you, that want to hang out with you. All of that changes when you change the be. So you might think, I'm operating on a B level of a 10, but the truth is, your 10 is somebody else's 1. And it's the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Bill Gates wouldn't want to hang out with me. Like, I think my B level is a 10, but when Bill Gates looks at my B level, he's probably like, oh, that's a 1. Sorry, dude. So, does that make sense? Everybody get that? So, let me go to the second step. Okay? So that's the B. B is being all those positive things. You have to do that first. Okay? Despite what the advertising and everything in the media tells us that we should do, it's all a bunch of crap, and it's a big lie. The truth is, none of the stuff is going to make you happy. None of the traveling the world, all that. If you're a miserable person, you're just going to be a miserable person that's traveling the world. The circumstances won't matter. So the be is first, okay? Be happy, be content, be all that stuff. Then the second thing is the do. Okay, now here's where the law of attraction and The Secret, I think, totally missed the boat. They made it sound like I wished for a bike and there was a bike there. Well, let me tell you, that's a bunch of crap. That ain't going to happen, okay? Next is the do. Okay, and the do is, that's what I love about the 4 principles, is 4 principles, absolutely 100%, is the most effective thing I've personally ever seen that works on the be. If I had to define the 4 principles and why it works, the 4 principles sets your be. Mm-hmm. When you go through the process like we just went through a few minutes ago, you feel different. You've just modified your be. Does that make sense?
It's like you turn it up just a little notch.
When you get into gratitude and faith and others focus and a clear goal, everything inside changes. That's why making the 4 principles a habit is so powerful. You want to change the be? Just do that. Just do the 4 principles. It works. Okay? It works like crazy. And that's why it works. I'm convinced that is why it works so well.
No, it's the second, it's
the next thing is the do. Okay? The next thing is the do. All right, now what is the do? In anything that we do, whether it's relationships, whether it's in money, like businesses, in our job, spiritually, in anything that we do, there's 2 things or 3 things that we do that create results. And the rest is all a bunch of, like, busy work. Okay? So if I'm in a relationship, there's only a couple different things that create results. Number 1 is connecting with you and talking with you and being with you.
That produces really good results.
Produces really good results.
Yes.
And that's really it. Well, there's some other things, but we can't. It's a PG show here, so we're going to keep it PG. No, I'm just kidding. But
I love having Lanny here.
So now let me talk about like money and cash and creating business, okay? Now when you look at business or any kind of job or anything, there's 2 or 3 things.
Wait. Back up. Just on the part about the relationship, it's not just the connection, it's about contribution. Really is what it boils down to, is what can I contribute to this either circumstance or person.
Yeah, it's others focused.
It's others focused.
It's connection with others focused.
Exactly.
Okay? All right, so if you want to make more money, the do always comes down to 2 activities that create results. Okay, so let's say I'm a salesperson. The only activities that create results are talking to people and setting up appointments. That's it. Setting up appointments, talking to people. And the do part, I love what Bob Davies said. He goes, if I'm not blank or blank, I'm unemployed. Okay, you can fill in the blanks with that, and you can use it for your relationship. If I'm not connecting with Dina and being others-focused, then I'm basically unemployed in this marriage. If I'm in my business, if I'm in sales, if I'm not setting appointments or talking to people, talking to those appointments, I'm unemployed. Those are the things that create results.
So with your goal, you guys, I just want to apply this a little bit to your goal, is one of the reasons why I always pick 2 things from every class, or when you're attempting to achieve your goal, figure out the 2 key action steps that produce the highest rate of return on your time with the least amount of effort. It's probably the one that scares you the most. It's probably the 2 things that you avoid the most, and it's the 2 things that keep you from achieving your goal. So figure out what those 2 things are, and if you need help with it, maybe we can do it at the end.
No, let's do it right now.
Okay.
Let's do it right now. Like take 30 seconds. You already know what these 2 activities are. What are the 2 activities in your job or in your business that create results, that actually create results, not busy work, not stuff that is window dressing that makes you feel good because you just, you surfed the internet doing research. This isn't learning. What is it you do that creates results? Give me 2 things right now. Go. And if you're hesitating, that's not good. You
I'm
need,
Andy.
you need to know what these are in your sleep. If I shake you out of bed at 2 in the morning and I say, Christian, what are the 2 things that create results? You should be able to wake up and go, it's this and it's this. So the next step of be, do, have is the have. Okay, and here's what that looks like. If you be first, and you be happy, and you be content, you be inspired, you be all those things, and then you do the things that you need to do to create the results, then you will have whatever it is you want to have. It's simple. It's be, then do, then you will have. It happens every single time. Okay? It just works. All right, so now that's the baseline. I had to give you a foundation in order to teach you this one thing, okay? That's nothing new. That was all review, okay? And for some of you, it was new. For you guys that was new, that said you'd never heard this before, is this helpful? Do you understand where this could be helpful? What I want you to do is when you watch TV, if you watch TV, I want you to watch the commercials from a different perspective and see how they're trying to program your brain to operate from have, do, be. Okay?
And then in addition to that,
because it's important that you get aware of this. It's important that you understand it and that it's happening every single day.
Mom? I've got to ask you something real personal. Do you douche?
I sure do. But only with Massengill vinegar and water.
Why Massengill vinegar and water?
That's what my doctor recommends. For a naturally fresh feeling, only Massengill has 2 vinegar and water douches. Pure, extra mild, and extra cleansing when you need it. You'll see how clean and fresh Massengill makes you feel. Massengill, trusted by more women than any other brand.
And not just over there, okay? So take it one step further to the application of yourself. Where are you doing that in your life, in any area of your life, where you're waiting for circumstances to change in order for you to feel a certain way? Where are you letting circumstances control your emotions, basically, in order for you to do something, act on it? That's very conditional, okay? So make sure that always when you're doing it that you don't go, oh, that's how my husband is, or that's how my mom is, or that's how my brother is, or oh, my kids are that way. No, where are you that way? and start becoming aware of those places that are controlling your emotions so that you can start to practice and create the habit of being. And then once you become aware of those areas, pick one that would be a life changer and start to change your be in that circumstance. Okay, just pick one.
Okay.
Which is answering somebody's question, by the way.
All right.
How do you make headway?
So next, with that as the foundation, I want to give you the lesson that absolutely, to me, is one of the holy grails of all lessons I've ever learned in my life. When I learned it, and I just learned it within the last week. And when I heard this, I was like, oh my God, like, why have I not heard this before, and why has nobody ever told me this? It is so good. Now, I'm going to start by asking you the question, how do you be? Anybody? It's kind of tough, isn't it? Has anybody here ever took a class on it? Anybody ever figured that part out? I mean, other than we talked about the 4 principles really works on setting the be. No, it's a big mystery. Now, the next question I want to ask you is...
Could you say that again?
Let me ask you this. Why is it that 25% of the most successful entertainers, entrepreneurs, and super mega crazy successful people commit suicide? It's true. There are a lot of people who are very successful end up committing suicide. So filthy rich, super famous, dead. Kurt Cobain, John Belushi, you name. I mean,
the one that just passed.
There's
one gal.
the singer.
Yeah.
What's her name?
28.
She was unbelievable. 27.
Super talented.
The British singer. Oh shoot, what's her name?
Amy
Winehouse. Yeah, Amy Winehouse. Okay. Amy Winehouse. Okay, so listen. Here's the deal. Are you guys ready? Because this is super important. If you have any distractions, I would put them aside because this is super good. When you look at the horizon, okay, I want you to think of the horizon. You're sitting here. Let's pretend like you're looking at the ocean, or forget it, wherever you're at. Look out at the horizon. Can you see the horizon from wherever you're at? No, I want you to look right now. It's important. If you have to look out the window, look out the window. Can you see the horizon? Okay, Anita said no. If you can't see it because you're in a city or something like that, just, you know what the horizon is, right? Is the horizon real? Is the next question. Is the horizon real? Let me ask you a question. If you were to take off right now in your car and drive to the horizon, would you ever get there? So I'm going to ask you the question again. Is the horizon real? No, it's not. It's not real. It doesn't exist. Okay? Our brain tells us it's real. Okay? Our brain says this horizon is a thing. It's where the sky meets the earth. But the truth is, there is no horizon. If you go to the horizon, it's a place you can never get to. Okay? You can never get there. Will everybody agree that you can never drive to the horizon? Now, here's why I'm telling you this, and this was the aha moment that was absolutely a life changer for me this week. Okay? We tend to measure ourselves against our ideal life. Okay? Our ideal life, if you think about what is your ideal life right now, if you visualize what that is, we tend to measure ourselves against what this ideal life is. Okay, do you guys get that you naturally tend to do that? You measure your current results against where you want to go. Does anybody here do that? Do you guys do that? I know I did it all the time. It was like how I operated.
Yeah, I'm notorious for doing it.
Dina's like a huge... she's the worst offender. Okay, so let me tell you why that doesn't work. Okay? Now stay with me on this because this is so good. The problem is the ideal life is like the horizon. As we grow as people and we become more and we get bigger, our ideal life also gets bigger. And it becomes something that we can never catch, like the horizon. So these movie stars, these people that are super successful, they go up on stage, they collect their Oscar trophy, they give their speech, they go home, and they still feel like crap. Because they're chasing something that keeps changing. And they feel like crap about themselves because they can never match up to the ideal life, because the ideal life always moves. So yeah, Christian said it, you're constantly chasing something that doesn't exist. Now, why is that so important? Okay? Here's why it's so important and so profound. And here's how it relates to be, do, have. Okay? Be, if your be is off, then you're not going to create good results. If you're constantly comparing yourself against this thing that's totally unachievable because it keeps moving, it's a moving target, and we're famous for it. Shoot. We brought in, a ridiculous amount of cash. We have this place in Hawaii, and we have a great relationship, And yet we're still not satisfied about the results. It's insanity.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we were floundering all over the place.
Oh, it's crazy.
I even said to Lanny, I'm never going to get there. I mean, I said it just like that.
But the truth is, you're never going to get there, and that's great.
And this is exactly why I wanted him to teach you guys this, because it's...
Okay, so listen. Let me get back to how. Here's the solution. Okay, this is like priceless as far as I'm concerned. And when I heard it, I was just like, oh my God, this is the best information I've ever heard in my life. Here's the solution to avoiding chasing something that you'll never get. Okay? And Lorraine says that I have it. It is never good enough or perfect enough. Okay, so listen. Here's the solution. You guys want the solution? Anybody? So here's the solution. You never compare yourself looking forward to the ideal. Okay? Never compare yourself looking forward to the ideal. Compare yourself to where you've been. So if you're going to compare, look back, not forward. Now, think about this. If you look at where you're at right now, in whatever it is that you do, and you look back 5 years, can you see that you've made progress? Now, when you make that paradigm shift, when you shift to compare backwards, you can say, yes, I've made progress. I was here, and now I'm here. It's not fair to look forward because the forward, you're chasing the horizon. So the problem is, as you grow and as you get better, what you want and what you desire becomes bigger too, especially us as achievers.
Well, it's just natural, too. I mean, the spirit within you wants to expand and change and reach and grow. I mean, it's always going to be that way. It'll never stop yearning for more. You'll never stop reaching for more potential or desiring more.
And that's a good thing.
It's in every one of us.
That's a good thing. And Christian says, what are goals made from? Goals are finding out. Goals, Christian, are looking at that ideal at that current point in time. Okay, so if I want to set goals, that's the time to sit down, take a snapshot of that ideal, that thing that's out on the horizon, and put a measuring tape there. Draw a definitive line, a finish line in the sand or in concrete or whatever. That's where you define a finish line. And you move to that finish line. Then you've eliminated the horizon, and you've made a definitive point. That's why goals are so powerful. You define what that place is that you're going to, and you get there and you achieve that. Then you go and you define another one.
Knowing that if you were standing on the earth, okay, and let's just say I'm sitting in our living room now looking out in the ocean, and I wanted to go 5 miles out in the ocean, knowing that once I reach the 5-mile mark, I'm going to see more ocean or another piece of land. So you're aware now that as you're moving forward, your vision is going to expand. Because you're going to be in places that you've never experienced before, that you've never seen before, that you didn't even know that you may even want to be at, see, do, have. There's things that you weren't even aware that existed until you got 5 miles out into the ocean. You didn't even know there was an island out there until you went that far. And then you get curious again, and then you go, oh, wow, well, what's on that island? I want to go there. Well, that's another 5 miles.
Mm-hmm. And then Nancy said it beautifully, acknowledge each finish line. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So here, let me get back to this, because I'm going to hammer the heck out of this, because I think it's so important.
Please do.
So listen, goals are important. Looking forward is important. When it becomes dangerous is when we allow where we're at versus where we want to go control how we feel. Because all achievement starts from from how we feel. Okay? So, when we look and judge where we're at right now, we're only allowed to judge backwards from where we were. not forward from where we want to go. Okay? So right now, I can say, okay, where am I? Okay, so let's take our relationship. Okay, if I was to sit down and analyze our relationship, and I look back 5 years, and I say, okay, how is my relationship with Dina compared to 5 years ago? What have we made progress on? What have we not? And if I go back and analyze there, I can tell you right now we've made a ton of progress.
Oh yeah.
When I look back 5 years, our communication's way better. We probably have more fun now than we did then.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably our fun then was more circumstantial than it is now. Now we don't even have to be doing stuff. We can just hang out and have a
sit
great
out on the
night.
patio for 10 hours and think it's the greatest time of our
So
life.
I look back, and now I can then judge myself going backwards fairly. Current results versus previous results. See, but if I have this pie-in-the-sky vision of what our relationship
should be,
because it'll always be growing what I want with our relationship. It'll always be bigger than what it currently is. So I'll never. So here's how powerful it is in a relationship. I won't look at our relationship and say, gosh, I wish it was this way.
Or when is she ever going to be like this?
When is she going to be like this? That's not fair.
Or when are we ever going to be able to do that?
Does that make sense, you guys? To me, when I heard this, I was like, this is the key to happiness.
Which you can wrap this back.
This is something that I guarantee keeps almost everybody unhappy. And if you had to define, what is happiness? Happiness is being satisfied with where you're at right now. Doesn't mean you have to be. Doesn't mean that you have to be. You don't want to go further, because we always want to go further. But here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. This is it. And I thought of this with money. I was on the plane. I was on the plane yesterday. I had 6 hours in the plane from the mainland of Hawaii to sit here and think about this, okay? And this was the one thing that kept resonating through my mind. You have to be satisfied with nothing in order to have anything. So if I strip down all the stuff, so let's take money, because that's an easy one, because everyone can relate to money. I have to be happy and satisfied with no money before I can create a lot of it.
So, yes.
I want to let that sink in. Hold on. I have to be satisfied with no money before I can get a whole lot of it. Does that make sense? I'm going to say it one more time. And then you can fill in the blanks. Okay?
No.
When it comes to relationships, I have to be satisfied just being here with Dina.
Okay, I would say on the relationship, because this is the one that I was going to say. Okay, ready? You have to be completely satisfied being alone before you can have a healthy relationship.
Because if I'm looking at her to satisfy whatever deficiencies I have, scary.
And I'm not talking about being all by yourself. I'm talking about being happy with yourself.
In the still moment when there's nobody around.
Just you.
And it's just you. So you can fill in the blank in any part of your life, in any area of your life, spiritually, financially, with relationships. It's omnipresent.
And this part of where is this in the Four Principles is gratitude. What he's talking about right now is the third principle. It keeps you present. And you're happy as is, no matter what.
So anyway, Anita, to your comment, you said that's a better example because you can't live without money, and the truth is you can. I've seen it, and you can be very happy without money. I've been to I'll never forget this village in Fiji. I was at a village in Fiji, and these people had no money, and they were the happiest people I've ever seen in my life. They lived off the land. They had each other. They had this community, and it was beautiful. And they had no money. So you can live without money. It's a paradigm that you can't live without money. You can. And if you can be okay without it and be very fulfilled, then you're open to having a ton of it. Because now you don't need it, you'll just create it. Because you're in the space to create it. You got the bee going. Do you see it? You got to be okay to have none of it before you can have a lot of it. I know if it's really messing with your brain right now, that's okay. Just trust me. Trust my results. I'm absolutely 100% sure of that one. Okay? And if you're struggling with it, that's okay. Just keep working with it until you understand it. It's a big concept. Simple concept, but a big one. And then somebody earlier said, boy, have I been trapped by the horizon. Lorraine, let me tell you, me too. Okay? And I love what you said, being trapped by the horizon. So let's define it as that. I actually really like what you put there, and I'm going to call it that, being trapped by the horizon. So in any given moment, we're either being trapped by the horizon or we're free. A goal is there to inspire. A goal isn't there to be an anchor. If your goal is an anchor, it's not the right goal. It's not something you want.
Or, you know what?
Or you're looking at yourself, again, you're trapped in the horizon. You're looking at yourself saying, I'm not there, so you feel like crap about yourself, which is going to keep you from ever getting there.
Or you might
There's the trap right there.
might have set the goal, for, like Lanny said, for the wrong reasons. So I'm going to just talk about one thing. A goal is meant to draw out your potential, to express yourself fuller, to break the chains of bad habits, things that weigh you down. So as you're achieving a goal, it's not the goal that's so grand, it's who you become in the process that makes the goal so phenomenal. So a goal is meant, a worthy goal of going after is meant to drive your potential out, make you more of who you've always been but have been conditioned not to express. It's like being encased in a shell of habits from generations of family and society and your peers, of things that people have said about you that you believe, that you're no good and you're not this and you can't do that and you'll never make money and you'll always be broke. And as you're achieving these goals, you go, well, gee, maybe I can make money. Maybe I am not that worthless. And you become more confident. Then what happens when you achieve the goal, you can increase your contribution. Your contribution increases. The B increases. You're more confident. You're calmer. You're more relaxed. You're more successful in your marriage. You're a better parent. You're a better friend. You're a better person. You're a bigger giver. So a goal is never meant to attain $100,000 or get. It's to increase your contribution with the $100,000, to extend your reach so that your presence on earth, your ripple effect goes further. So with a goal that's burdening you, some of the things you can ask yourself is, am I doing this for the wrong reasons? Am I doing it because I want to raise? Am I doing it because I want my husband to love me more? Am I doing it because I want to be liked? Am I doing it for status? Am I doing it because I want some girl to like me or some guy to like me? Are you doing it to be liked? Are you doing it to prove something? That's for the wrong reason.
The only reason for a goal, God, it's so good, Dina. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
The only reason for a goal is just to be more. She said it. A goal is just there to make us bigger, better people. It's who we become in the process that matters. So a goal gives us an opportunity to increase our B. Okay? Because here's the deal. Okay? I was thinking about this on the plane, too. I had a lot of deep thoughts on a plane. 6 hours by myself was awesome. No offense, honey. I love you, but it was good. So anyway, listen, I was thinking about this on the plane. In 100 years, 200 years, nobody will have even known I existed. Like, what I did and the goals that I had won't even matter. So when you think about it, the goals don't really matter that much. Like, it's not that big a deal. So don't need to take it so seriously, because 200 years from now, no one's going to... my children's children won't even know who I am. Like, think about it. Do you know who your great-great-great-grandparent is? And anything that they did? No. So don't take it so seriously. Just be happy. Be content. Work on the be part. So you have a great life while you're here. And if you don't make it to the goal, well, big deal. Look backwards and say, have I made progress? You know, when I look back, have I become more? Have I gotten better? Have I increased my contribution from 2 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago?
I love measuring yourself from where you've been to where you're at today. It's such a relief. It's so relieving. Because, 10 years ago, we often talk about this. 10 years ago,
let's talk about that for a second.
Let's just currently, okay. Lanny and I have had some circumstantially disastrous things happen. And something that, there was 3 major events in our life that happened a couple months ago that would be major for people, okay? And the grief has been, for me, beyond measure. I've never grieved so hard in my life for relationships like this, and just some disastrous things have happened, and it's been very challenging. And when he taught me this last week, it's the first time I felt relief in 2.5 months. I've never had this hard of a time in my life, ever. And one of the things he said to me was, Dina, let's measure our progress. 10 years ago when we met, he had $20. I had about...
No, I spent the $20.
Oh, yeah, we went out to lunch.
I had nothing.
So
I had nothing.
He was broke. He spent his last $20 on 2 burritos for us and 2 beers. But we had a blast. I was a single broke mom with no job, worried to death how I was going to take care of my kid. That was it. I was just broken. I was broken at the time, and so was Lanny.
Yep.
He had just had some people die. I mean, he went through kind of some catastrophic events. And then I thought about all the progress we've made since 10 years ago. And here I was sitting in Hawaii for 2 weeks crying my eyes out in this beautiful house, making a significant amount of money with the man of my dreams, my kid, and my mom. And I felt in complete despair. And I thought, Lenny goes, if I would have handed you a chapter in a book telling you would have a $2.8 million house on the water in Hawaii, living.
Yeah,
I mean,
If I would have given let me tell you, you did a good job.
This is good.
If I could, I told her, I said, listen, if I could give you a snapshot of your current misery, okay, your current circumstances and everything that's going on in your life right now, including all the yucky stuff, 10 years ago. And I named him off. I said, you got this house on the beach in Hawaii. You got a great marriage. Your kids are awesome. Your mom's here. You're having a great time with her.
Kids are healthy.
Okay.
I'm healthy.
Oh, by the way, okay, so you got screwed over by a business partner and you lost some business relationships. You still got this, this, and this. If I gave you that pie 10 years ago and said, here's your pie,
do you want it?
Would you take the pie? The answer is, are you kidding me? Yeah.
I go, hell yes I would. And it fixed me right then and there. I mean, that was it. I mean, I've had some, it hasn't been every hour hasn't been perfect. since then, you know, I'm human, right? You're going to battle stuff. But I'll tell you what, it whipped my little ass into shape. And it was such a relief. I thought, man, I'd take this any day. Any day. This is way better than what I had, where I was at. Way better. Yucky and all.
So
I'll take it.
So here's the power of the transformation, okay? Here you have Dina and myself, okay? And this is why this lesson I think is so profound for us, is because it was so personal.
It's real.
Okay? Like this
and
is
raw.
This is happening in our life right now.
Real and raw.
Okay?
You're getting it.
This is all happening in the last 7 days, okay? Here we're in this super negative vibration, this low place of borderline despair, and we took and turned it around just like that. Okay? If we would have stayed in that vibration, we would have headed down a path that would have been bad. Seriously, the end result of the way we were feeling would have been disaster. Okay?
Christian, that's a damn good pie. That's what I was thinking.
So listen, just like that, all of a sudden I'm like, man, I feel good. Like I'm excited about what's happening. I'm excited about what we're doing. Like we have it so good, and now that we're being different. Okay, the bee is totally different now than it was 7 days ago. Now I can go do the things that I need to do to get the results I want to get.
Okay, now here's the critical piece right here that you want to apply to yourself. Or let me ask you this question. Did our circumstances change at all in that moment? And the answer is no. Nothing's changed for Lanny and I yet. Everything's the same.
Yep. We're still in litigation. Everything
There's
else,
still the loss.
relationships that were lost are still lost.
We still took the hardest hit financially ever.
Yeah.
You know.
A ridiculous amount of income gone.
I mean, just gone. 85% of our income's gone.
It didn't come back. It's gone.
It's not coming back right now. Well, it is now. Ever since we changed our perspective.
Okay.
So the thing is, though, nothing changed. We didn't acquire anything. Nobody called us and said something. We didn't get a great email telling us good news. All we did was shift our perspective. And everything changed. The way we see it now and the way we're experiencing life is totally different, and it happened in a moment. It took us an hour to work into it. He shared this lesson with me, and it took him an hour to teach me on the phone. And I cried with relief. It felt so good by the time we got off the phone. And so all it was changing the way I was thinking about everything, looking at it just I didn't look at anything else but my own personal results, my own personal progress. Is Dina any better today than she was 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Have I made any progress? And I'm not talking about just acquiring a great relationship or a house or anything like that. I'm not talking about money in the bank. I'm talking about, am I personally a better person today, or do I think I'm a better, I don't care what anybody else thinks in that moment. You want to measure yourself. Are you more confident? Are you more content? Are you more at peace? Are you more relaxed? Well, the intangible things about you, are your value systems, more grounded? Do you like who you are? And that's what we're talking about. So when we talk about you have to be happy with no money to acquire, you have to be happy alone to have a good relationship. We're not talking about being broke. I'm not talking about being solitude all by yourself. I'm talking about, are you happy with who you are? so that on your journey to achieving these wonderful goals, it expands you. It grows you. You don't change. You really don't change much. What you do is become more of who you already are. You express yourself.
The best parts of you.
Yeah. You allow the
What's great
best
about
of you to shine.
Your unique gifts and talents, the things that make you great.
That have always been there. They've always been there. They've just been stifled. That's why I always say, let the light within you shine, or you're a diamond in the rough. See, we're cutting facets today so that the light within you, or I call it unveiling the light, unveiling the diamond within you, where if you think about it, when you're born, you're this perfect, round, brilliant, beautiful diamond. And over time, if you think about a wedding veil, and it's sheer and you can see through it if you only have one layer, but if you keep putting layers on top of this diamond, pretty soon you can't see it anymore. It gets darker and darker and darker, and those are bad habits. What your teacher said about you, what your husband said about you, what your friend told you couldn't do one day that made such a big impact that you've never forgotten, an experience that you had that might have been devastating. All those are veils of layers over this perfect diamond. And as you do work like this, you begin to take a layer off and take a layer off. And pretty soon you start to see something within yourself that you think you've changed and you really haven't. All you're doing is unveiling the truth about you and taking off all the muck that's stifling you and holding you back and becoming the best you can be. So the lesson that Galante's teaching, when I always, in class I always talk about beat your own best, beat your own best. That's really what I'm talking about.
Yeah, look at yesterday.
Beat your own best.
Today, did you do better than you did yesterday? If you did, that's a win. Chalk one up in the win column. That's a victory.
And I don't care if it's as simple as, let's just pretend you have a weight goal, okay? 2 less bites than you took yesterday on something that ice cream. That's progress.
If you normally eat 12 double-stuffed Oreo cookies and you only had 11, that's progress.
And then 2 days later, you only had 10. And 2 days later, you only had 8. And pretty soon, you're only having 1, and it really doesn't hurt you anymore because it's moderation, and you can still enjoy the thing that you like, but it's no longer hurting you. It's no longer holding you back from becoming the best you, the healthy you. And, oh, by the way, when you start shaving things like that, just 1 degree, turning the dial just a little bit, by then you've created the habit of only eating 1 Oreo. Instead of saying, okay, today that's it, I'm not eating any Oreos anymore, that's it. But then in 5 days from now, you get a whole box and you eat it because you've deprived yourself and you haven't created the habit yet. And it's something that you love and you really want. So when you do just a little bit, this is how you stay on track. Oh, by the way, when you get off track on your goals, pick 2 things. Do a little bit that day. Start beating your own best. You'll inspire yourself, okay? It's that little bit each day that makes such a difference over time, and it's creating new habits that support who you really are, the healthiest, best, your biggest, brightest potential.
What I'm going to do is kind of just give a little summary, okay? First, we talked about be, do, have. Okay, be first, do second, and then you'll have whatever it is that you want. Okay, we talked about the 4 principles. When you set the 4 principles, it automatically changes the chemistry inside of you, and it works on your be. And then we talked about compare yourself back, not forward, so you don't get trapped by the horizon.
And then that takes the beating yourself up out of your life. It takes the worry, doubt, and fear out of your life. It takes the frustration out of your life. Now, that's not to say that you won't have moments, hours, and maybe even days of it sometimes. But again, the whole comparing yourself to the rising, tell him what that one gentleman that taught you, how he said, I only do it 8 times now,
his name is
but I used to
Dan.
live there all day.
So his name is Dan, and he says, he said, people ask me, do you avoid getting trapped now? And he said, no. He goes, I only get trapped about 6 or 8 times a day, but before I would be trapped for 6 or 8 months. So one thing that's important to realize is this habit that we have of looking at this ideal life that's never going to happen because it's always changing. We're still going to do it. It's just being aware of it. Once you're aware of it, you can do something about it. Okay?
For years, Lorraine said.
Yeah, for years. Like I'll never forget, Dr. Robert Rohn said, in order to be aware, you need to be aware. Okay, so in order to be aware of something that's holding you back, you have to be aware of it. Okay? So here's the truth on this whole thing. Everything we're talking about, life is a journey. There's no destination. We haven't arrived at any finish line.
I mean, you guys can see the stress on my face. We're on the
journey just like you, and the best that we can do for you is give you what we've got based on our knowledge and experience and what we've experienced in life. And that's all we're doing, was sharing with you lessons we've learned, some of them hard. This was a hard one. It's probably why we're so emotional about it. It's so charged because we have so much passion about it because it was such a tough lesson. So our pain and agony is a gift to you. So
hope you like it.
Hope it was valuable because it really
we
sucked.
hope it helped somebody. So I would really encourage you guys to watch this over and over and over and over
No.
over
Sorry,
again.
I gotta call technical foul on that one. Here's what I want you to do. Sorry, I'm gonna overrule that one.
Yeah, because you don't want them to just watch it. You want them to do
Here's
it.
what I want you to do. I want you to go out and teach this to 6 people. Okay? Teach it to 6 people. So I just learned this less than a week ago. Just explaining it to you today has been so valuable for me. Like, it helped me, like,
sink in.
get it in there. Okay? So forget about watching the video, although I would watch the video if you want again. But teach it to somebody. Go share it and explain it to somebody. Because in order to teach something, you have to truly understand it. Through the process of teaching, it's really powerful.
So I'm going to leave you with this quote. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. So I wish you guys all the best.
Yeah, there's no failure in life, okay? Think about it.
Not at all.
There's no such thing as failure. You either get what you want or you get experience and knowledge.
So you can't fail.
And learning. No such thing as failure.
So I hope you either get what you want or a lot of experiences next week. Aloha.